Okay, welcome back to the fourth and final video on this series here, where we're going through a business pro forma and covering all of the tabs here that you see on the bottom of my screen and how the tabs speak to each other, how the formulas are built in. Now we're going to get into the growth tab and the cash flow tab, which is where we really identify now our different revenue streams and the revenue that we should expect from each product or service that we're offering based on the total unit sales we are anticipating per month. This is where we really need to figure out what are the best products for us to offer that give us the highest return on investment and the most ability to have decision-making power. So let's get into the accounts here. We have revenue stream 1, revenue stream 2, and as you recall, let's go back to the revenue or the business drivers tab and see what our per unit cost or per unit price is for each of these products / services. So our service number 1, revenue stream 1, we're selling for $1. So again, I just threw in these numbers here, and then the second product or service we're offering is $3. So let's go to the growth tab here, and here this is where we're plugging in the number of units that we plan on selling. So if we plan on selling 14 units of revenue stream 1 or product 1, now if we go down to the revenue section here and we want to attribute revenue from revenue stream 1 or revenue from product 1, you'll see here, let me open up this tab and make this a little bigger for y'all. Okay, if we do that and we just click on that tab, you'll see here in the formula section we have D8, so D8, 14 units from revenue stream 1. D8 times business drivers at cell C15. So what does that mean? We're taking the number at D8, 14 units, times business drivers tab at cell C15, $1. So go back to growth, 14 units times $1 for revenue stream 1, that gives us 14. That's why you see 14 there. Now, if we go to revenue stream 2, again we have 14 units, and now let's go to revenue from revenue stream 2, and you'll see that that is $42. Why? Well, we have D9, so D9 times business drivers at cell C16. As you recall, C16 is $3, which is what gives us that 42. So again, the only numbers we're going to change here on this growth tab are right here. We're accounting for attrition. I did zero these out, but you can account for that here if you say maybe you have a membership, for example, and you need to account for losing 10 people per month. That would be something you want to account for so that you can accurately identify the actual total revenue that you can anticipate from that membership. So that's going to be the same format for each of the following months. We got units times the per unit price gives us our total. 15 units times $1 per unit gives us $15. 6 units times $3 per unit gives us 18. And then here, net revenue, that's our sum of D15, so D15 plus, that gives us these numbers down here. Now if you were paying a sales commission to your salespeople, this would be a negative number. So this might be, okay, we're earning in this case it would be $56 yeah, $56, and then maybe we're paying out a certain commission percentage or dollar figure, we would have a negative number because that would be a payout, and then that payout would be represented in the total net revenue from those products or services. Now let's go over to the cash flow tab. Now this is where we identify our break-even point, and this is where we make sure that we're selling enough and we're pushing the gas pedal hard enough to make sure that we're not going to fall behind, and we're not putting too much strain on our monthly cash flow. You've probably heard me say that like 3 times now. We don't want to put too much strain on monthly cash flow. This is the tab that we are looking for that right now. So let's change these numbers around now, because obviously we're not going to sell our products at this $1 and $3 price point. So you can see these numbers, we're falling behind pretty quick. So based on the total salaries that we have, the operational costs that we have, the advertising spend that we have a lot of ground to make up, and we have a lot of ground that we're losing here, as you can see, and we're falling more and more behind every month. So let's change that now. So let's see what the difference is when we sell this for. We sell product 1 for $100, and we sell product 2 for $1,000. Okay, now let's go to the growth tab here, and you can see at that price point we have 14 units still, 14, 15 units, 6 units, and then instead now we've taken 14 times that business drivers tab at cell C15, which was 100 as you recall, and now that total revenue stream is 1,400 and 14,000 based on $1,000 price point. So now our net revenue obviously skyrockets. It goes up a lot higher because we're charging a lot more now for that product. So let's see what it did to our cash flow. Okay, so we're still in the red, but as you can see, we're falling less and less behind now. Okay, so we're still losing money, but we're losing less money, obviously. So instead of changing the price point for each product or service, now let's go to the growth tab and let's change the quantity. Let's say we want to, instead of increasing the cost per unit, let's say we want to increase volume now. Because maybe our target audience can't afford a price point above $1,000. So in that case, we would just need to reach more people. We need to have higher volume. And so now let's change our volume numbers. So let's say instead of 14, we're doing 140 units, and then for revenue stream 2, let's say we're going to do 200 units. And now we have a pretty solid net revenue here of $214,000. That's just for the month of May based on those units. So let's manipulate them now a little bit. Let's drop this down to 100 and drop this to also 100. Okay, so now let's bump these up by, let's say our goal is to grow by, let's say 5 to 10% per month. So let's say that this is 105, 105. Let's say that this is 115, 115, 125, 125. And let's say that one of these starts to take off and another remains stagnant. So let's say that our bread and butter is this revenue stream 1. So let's say that this bumps up to 175 and this stays around 125. And then this goes up to 200 because we're really taking off. That's our bread and butter. And let's say that because of that, we start putting more resources and more advertising dollars into that product, so that maybe in November we realize, hey, this is a big money product for us. Let's reallocate our funds and let's try and bump that to 250, and then 300, and then 400. And here, these are probably going to drop a little bit, because why? We're taking funds, or we're taking resources away and reallocating them to revenue stream 1. So maybe there's a decrease, but not as profound as we think. Let's say this goes down to 110, and then we're at 110 again. We'll say 100, and let's say that now we got a little bit of a rhythm going. Maybe now we're going to hire someone to pick these numbers back up, and let's say we jump back to 115. Okay. So you get the idea how you can use this as a roadmap to see, hey, these should be attainable goals for us to reach, and this is how we would do it. Maybe, if we want to reach this per unit because this is the biggest audience that we have, this is the good price point for that audience, and so let's pour resources into that and let's capitalize on that. And then you can adjust accordingly. And that's how you can use this as a roadmap. So let's see what that did to our cash flow tab now. So there we go. Now we're in the clear. So we are no longer in the red. Now we're actually making money, and we have some cash on hand. I want to go through not each tab here, but I want to illustrate what these mean. So when I say cash on hand at the beginning of every month, that's where we have again revenue from accounts. That right there is equal to the growth tab at cell D18. So where did we get that? We got that from the growth tab at cell D18. So growth tab D18, as you recall, I highlighted the net revenue from each of our revenue streams. Our net revenues here. And then you can see in the cash flow tab, revenue from accounts. There it is right there. Okay. And then we have this other option right here. We have loan from other cash injections, anything that you're anticipating as cash inflow that's not directly from sale of your product or service. You would insert that here. And then that total amount cash available before our expenses would be found here. So then what we do on a monthly basis is we take that total cash in and we subtract out everything that we identified from, remember, the use of proceeds. So this use of proceeds, you see here, that's all, everything that we identified. And now that looks pretty similar to our total cash paid out, right? So we got $110,000 incoming. How much do we have leaving? We have a total of $34,000, $34,500 leaving, and that leaves us, after expenses, cash position at the end of the month, $75,475. So at the start of June 1st, we go back up to June 1st. That right there is what we have cash on hand at the beginning of June 1st. Now, up here, equal to cell E39. So E39, there it is right there. And that is the summation of E13 less E37. So where did that come from? So let's find it. E13, right there. Cash available before cash out, less E37, right there. Total, $34,500. So right there, cash position, how we find that is our total cash in less total cash out. That's our cash position at the end of the month and the beginning of the next month. And that right there is how we decide on, okay, we can be aggressive this month, or hey, Now we have the ability to hire some people because we have some freedom and flexibility that if we hire this person or we hire this person, it's not going to impact our ability to take resources and use them for advertising or marketing. And this is how we use this as a roadmap. And we repeat the same process month after month. Okay, y'all, I hope this was beneficial. I hope you got some value out of this. This is, again, something I have saved in probably 20 different places. This has been incredibly valuable for me. I have this saved, like I said, in 20 different places, just in case something goes wrong. I make sure I don't lose these formulas because they're incredibly valuable. So I recommend that you're going to get a copy of this. I recommend that you save this in a couple different places. You always keep a clean template with the formulas built in, so that if you're ever going through this, you don't have to tiptoe through it and hope that you don't make a mistake by plugging in the wrong number in the wrong place or the wrong word here or there, and end up throwing off all the formulas. So for what it's worth, make several copies, use this, look at it. You got to use it on a monthly basis, and it will save you a ton of time, a ton of effort, and a ton of money. I assure you that. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much.